So welcome back to another rebuild here on NBA 2K25 Next Gen. In today's video, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun. It is the start of March Madness, it is day 2 of the round of 64, and I thought might as well bring this tournament into 2K25 and do a rebuild. Now I got this inspiration by a TikTok that I saw. It was done by a user of the name of JG Sims. He ended up pretty much putting a ton of NBA legends on their college teams respectively. Our goal today is we're going to rebuild the worst one, and hopefully by the time this video wraps up, we're able to get the team a championship. Now, I'll explain a little bit more and share some further details once we get into the video, but real quick, as always, let me know any other rebuild ideas down below in the comment section. Of course, always open to anything and everything you guys are looking to see. Running a couple different series right now between the rebuild challenges, the LeBron era rebuilds, and kicking off the offseason rebuild earlier this week as well. So, really excited about this one today. I also want to apologize. I missed 2 upload days this week. I had some stuff that I had to do, and I didn't have time to record. But we're here today, man. March Madness. It is always such a great time of year. Let's get into it. Okay, we now find ourselves here in the 2025 offseason. We'll be doing 3 off seasons, 3 regular seasons, as we pretty much always do in an off-season rebuild. Now, I want to go ahead and I want to explain to you just a little bit further about the way this is going to work. I wish there were 30 college teams in here with all of the legends of their groups. That's unfortunately not the way this works. Now, I really do appreciate the user that created this file. It is very much appreciated because I spent some time looking for other ones and I could not find it. So I really do appreciate it. But there's only 13 teams we're going to work with here today. And that obviously makes things a little bit easier, whereas you're typically competing against 29 other teams. Here today, we're only competing against 12. Now, we are going to be using UConn. I understand they're the back-to-back defending national champions at the moment. We are using them because out of all 13 college rosters in here, they are by far the worst one, and it's not even remotely close. So, I have all 13 of these college teams selected right now. I'm going to go ahead, show you all their rosters, and I'll show you a little bit more and explain a little bit further about the way this is going to work. So, starting out here with the UConn Huskies. Yes, I see that UConn is spelled with a K. Obviously, it is not spelled with a K in real life. It's kind of funny. Okay, here's what the roster is looking like right now. It is a mix of players who actually went to UConn and are in the NBA, and then some random veterans that are just kind of here as roster fillers. So, starting out at the top, Stephon Castle, who, although is a solid NBA player in the Rookie of the Year conversation and will be very good for a long time, if you compare him to some of the best players on these 12 other teams, it's kind of night and day, and you'll see pretty soon why we are going ahead and using UConn here today. So Stephon Castle, Donovan Clingan, obviously both national champions. You got Andre Drummond here, Jordan Hawkins, Tyrese Martin, Andre Jackson Jr. Please ignore these 3 here with Otto Porter, Davis Bertans, and Robin Lopez. And then you got Cam Spencer and Tristan Newton as the final 2 UConn players here. So this is the way it works. We are basically going to rebuild this team. There are no rules or restrictions. It's kind of like a normal rebuild. Every NBA player that is in here right now has their normal contract. So we're going to be making trades like we normally do. We're going to go ahead and draft players like we normally do. We're going to sign free agents. Not everybody on this team is going to end up being from UConn or was a UConn Husky here today. Now let's go through the other 12 teams. I'll show you guys this real quick. And again, you'll see pretty shortly why we are using UConn here. So here's a look at the LSU Tigers. They were kind of a close second, but ultimately thought they were just a little bit better here than UConn was. Again, kind of a mix of guys that actually went to LSU and guys that did not, because we're not going to get, 15 players that went to UConn, LSU, Duke, Kentucky. Well, Duke and Kentucky probably, but you understand my point. Here's a look at Franz Wagner in the Michigan Wolverines. Here is Lauri Markkanen in the Arizona Wildcats. Gonzaga with Domantas Sabonis, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs, of course, hitting one of the craziest shots in March Madness history. You got Jason Tatum in the Duke Blue Devils. I actually checked, the social media. It said that this was the team that actually won the NBA Finals last year. So they're certainly going to be a problem and a very, very big pain in the ass here today, because we are certainly going to run into them at some point. But yeah, this entire team outside the 2-way players is all guys that actually went to Duke. Here is a look at Joel Embiid in the Kansas Jayhawks. It is Cam Johnson in the UNC Tar Heels. Kentucky, led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, might actually even be scarier than Duke. I'm not really sure what you do with this, right? We have to somehow create a team that's going to be able to beat this and or Duke. I don't know how that's going to be possible. Here is Jaren Jackson Jr. in the Michigan State Spartans. Basically just the New York Knicks here. Of course, the Villanova Wildcats led by Jalen Brunson. UCLA Bruins with Zach LaVine. Texas Longhorns with Kevin Durant. And then we are back with ourselves here with the UConn Huskies. So, after reviewing the rosters, I made a decision to use UConn. Not a shot at the back-to-back defending national champions, but they're clearly the worst out of the bunch right now. So, yeah, it's going to work like a normal rebuild. We're going to sign and trade for players and draft guys that are obviously not UConn Huskies. We are strictly just doing a rebuild, and the fact that it's March Madness is pretty fun. Now, I will show you guys something else. The way these rosters work that are not NBA teams, because there are 17 other teams in here that are not college teams. They are NBA teams. So the way it works is pretty simple. They just have a bunch of super low overalls that are never going to be impactful here. These guys are legitimately never going to see the floor. They're probably not going to be signed by most teams, and it's kind of making sense the way this is going to work. I think we're all probably starting to understand the concept a little bit. So let's get into it. Offseason number 1. Now, I actually am going to override Kyle Lowry's retirement. I'm not doing this because I want him back in the league for some miraculous reason. I just kind of think it would be cool to have another Villanova guy, back here in the league. Now, I'm not going to override Chris Paul. I'm not going to override Al Horford. Of course, he didn't go to Michigan State. He went to Florida. You kind of get the point here moving forward. So Kyle Lowry is going to be the one and only guy I override his retirement. It's fine. Luke Walton was actually coaching Michigan. That's pretty cool. Hall of Fame. LeBron in here obviously didn't go to college and wouldn't have really been on a team anyways. Chris Paul, there's no Wake Forest in here. Steph Curry, there's no Davidson. James Harden, there's no Arizona State. So, again, would have been really, really cool, to kind of just see, all of the, 30 teams or something like that. Even more, you can create a bigger league than 30. But, I still am really appreciative of the user that actually, took his time to create this. And again, he made a TikTok and just kind of showing some of the visuals. I don't think he was expecting anybody to go out and rebuild this. So, yeah, I still really appreciate it. It's really cool. So, we are going to just kind of run through this video like a normal rebuild. Now, the one thing I did notice is that previously traded draft picks were not turned off. Again, he wasn't expecting anybody to rebuild this. I highly doubt it. But, just something to note here. I will figure out pretty shortly which team we are using by our head coach. And that is going to be Jordi Fernandez. Okay, so we're the Brooklyn Nets. I don't have a problem with Jordi. I actually had a lot of success with him in my Brooklyn Nets rebuild earlier this week. But ultimately, considering what our roster does look like right now, compared to the others, I don't think it would be the worst idea in the world to maybe go out and get a guy like Mike Stauffer. So that's not a shot at Jordi. It's just the ultimate reality of the situation that we find ourselves in here today. So something else to show you real quick. This is the 2025 draft class. So, I'm really hoping that Duke doesn't find a way to get Cooper Flagg. That would be really unfortunate considering what the rest of their team looks like. There's obviously all of these guys, maybe we draft Liam McNeely, we're the UConn team. So, there's a lot of different things we could do here today to have some fun. I'd also like to go ahead and be a little bit competitive. So, we are the Nets. We have all the Nets draft picks. So we are working here with 20, 22, 24, 27, and 21. We don't have a lot of depth right now. I'll give you that. So I think it is kind of valuable to keep at least 2 of these picks. I would be interested in maybe moving up a bit. So let's see if we can work out a trade. We're going to go ahead and attempt to make a trade here with the Los Angeles Clippers. Of course, they're not one of the other college teams. I didn't really put in any rules, against trading with one of the bad NBA teams. Now, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to try to trade for any of their first-round picks. Now, if I did that and they had a bunch of 60 overalls, sure, those picks would be really valuable. It just feels even a little bit too cheesy for an unrealistic rebuild. So these are 3 of the later first-round picks we have here, along with the 1 second we do have. This is the 9th overall selection, and I'd like to be able to maybe trade for this pick because this would give us number 9 overall and number 20 overall as well. This team lacks a lot of depth right now. I think if we can get it in any way possible, it would be greatly beneficial. So I'd be willing to give up a few more seconds. I'm hoping it doesn't take another first. I don't know if I'd be willing to do that, and it doesn't. Okay, thankfully we are here. By the way, I went ahead and, only used the Huskies here. I took away the other teams, so now the CPU is just rebuilding, the other 12 NCAA teams and the, there's 17 NBA teams or whatever. All right, it is the 2025 NBA draft. Cooper Flagg probably not going to be here when we're picking at number 9. Here's a look at the summary so far. We were 1 pick off of being able to get Liam McNeely, which would have been really funny. But you know what? It's fine. I mean, could I maybe try to trade up for him? I will just see. I'm just kind of curious. I'm also interested to see, what players we're getting offered. Like Grayson Allen's one of the lowest overalls on Duke. I don't really expect the 9th overall pick to get me a ton. We could get VJ Edgecombe, who's just sitting there. And I actually don't hate that. Trey Johnson out of Texas as well. I'm actually going to make the trade for VJ Edgecombe. I am. We're going to give up a swap in 2029, but I think I'm cool with that. And then we'll sit at the board at number 20, see who's sitting here for us again. They're probably not going to end up being somebody from from UConn. Nolan Traore also sitting here out of France. He's actually one of the higher, scouted prospects according to our scouting department, but he's one of the lower overall still sitting here on the board. Why not? I'll draft him. What's it going to do? I mean, who cares? So welcome to the team. 77 and 71 overall, respectively. Drummond's going to end up declining. We will bring back Jordan Hawkins and then Noah Clowney, Keon Johnson, who, of course, are not UConn Huskies anyways, are free to go. Now, I will qualify Cam Spencer and Tristan Newton. They're not, superstars in the NBA or anything. And we are sitting here in free agency, and there are some players. So Duke Blue Devil, Kyrie Irving is sitting here. You got Kentucky Wildcat, Julius Randle, LSU Tiger, Cam Thomas. So there's a lot of names here. And, of course, this team, as things progress throughout the 3 years of this rebuild, things are going to become less and less UConn-ish around here. Again, if I could keep an entire team full of UConn Huskies and think I had any chance to compete with Duke, Kentucky, etc., I would do it. It's just not the case, and it doesn't really make anything very entertaining today if that's the way we were going to go. So do we have any money? We do. We have a lot of money. So could I maybe convince a Duke Blue Devil to come over here to UConn? I would be willing to throw the bag at Kyrie Irving. Oh my God, we might get Kyrie. Could I do something similar with Julius Randle, right? We have the money. Why would I not go out and give it my best shot? Again, these are the two top unrestricted free agents sitting here on the board. I think it would be well worth our while. Again, what is he being offered right now? 118, basically $119 million over 4 years from the LSU Tigers. 119 divided by 4. It's about $29.75 million a year, basically 30. All right, I'll offer him 31 and a quarter a year for Julius Randle to come here. And we get both of them. We get both Kyrie Irving and Julius Randle. I'm actually not going to renounce Tyrese Martin, but everybody else, not Cam Spencer or Newton, everybody else is pretty much free to go at this point. So pretty cool. Pretty cool, man. Was that a trade exception? No, it was not. Pretty cool spot right now. Of course, adding two players that I think, again, are going to be a really, really big benefit for this team is absolutely huge. So Kyrie, Julius Randle, welcome to the squad. At this point, I think we're going to continue to work the trade market. We actually have no real trade assets. So instead, we're going to work the free agency market a little bit. I have no idea why Khalil Ware and Yves Missi are both sitting here as unrestricted free agents, but I'm going to pay them, and at least one of them. I would like to be able to bring in some players who are actually pretty talented. Fuck, he goes back to Miami even after he's released. All right, I will try for Yves Missi, who again doesn't have any real offers right now if he wants $14 million. Perfectly fine by me. And then finally, the backup power forward spot. I'll bring in a guy like Caleb Martin, who actually, where did Caleb Martin go? He went to Nevada. All right, I'll pay him. It's fine. He's a nice option at the backup power forward spot. And then we are going to lose a couple free agents here. Tyrese Martin wants to go to the Kings. I'll actually match that. He could be a trade piece at some point. He could be depth. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Cam Spencer and Tristan Newton, though. I don't know if they're restricted or not. They actually might be. But other than that, I'm kind of ready to run this thing heading into year number 1. Kyrie, I'm actually going to play Nolan Traore. It's going to be Stephon Castle at the 2, Jordan Hawkins behind him, VJ Edgecombe, Andre Jackson Jr. You got Julius Randle. We just signed Caleb Martin. I actually forgot about Tyrese Martin. And then finally, Donovan Clingan and Yves Missi. So, I'm not really sure what I want to do here at the power forward spot. Two solid backup options, but I'll probably hang on to both of them for now and then have one eventually be a trade piece in the next offseason. But, as a whole right now, we're still pretty UConn. We're not 100%, but you know what? We're kind of keeping things intact right now with a little bit of help, at least at the top with Kyrie and Julius Randle. So I'll sit around and wait and see if Cam Spencer and Tristan Newton have qualifying offers. I mean, did I qualify them? Yeah, I qualified them. So they're probably both going to be brought back. I highly doubt they get NBA contracts. And I'll see you guys at the rotation at the start of year 1. One note, Tristan Newton and Cam Spencer actually both got 2-year contracts on the last day of free agency. We are going to be matching both. I'm actually really happy they got these contracts because it means they will not be free agents again next offseason. So I'm pretty cool with that. Now I'll see you guys at the rotation. All right, it is year 1 here for us in UConn. We had a pretty successful offseason, in my opinion. Of course, added at the top with Kyrie Irving and Julius Randle. Some of our younger players like Stephon Castle, Donovan Clingan are developing quite nicely, and we've established a 10-man rotation. Now, something that I want to note, we are going to be one of the better teams in the league. That kind of goes without being said, considering there are 17 NBA teams in here that probably have a bunch of 60 and 70 overalls with no star power. That kind of is obvious. The thing that we're going to run into is going to be Duke, Kentucky, all of those teams that are absolutely loaded with NBA superstars and just have all those guys on their roster for now. So we're going to be better. We're going to be in the playoffs. There's no doubt about that. I just don't know if we're good enough quite yet. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, also, those are some old school UConn uniforms. Not really sure how the new ones aren't in here, but they're not, and it's cool. Kyrie at the 1, Stephon Castle at the 2. You got VJ Edgecombe, who of course we drafted or traded for the 7th overall pick, 9th overall pick, whatever. He ended up coming in. He's our starting small forward. Randle at the 4, and then Donovan Clingan at the 5. Bench unit will actually be led by Tristan Newton. Now, I went ahead and drafted a point guard, and Tristan Newton ended up picking up his qualifying offer, and, well, he actually accepted another offer, and I matched it, but he's going to be here. He's going to be the backup behind Kyrie. Yves Missy's going to be the backup center, Jordan Hawkins, the backup shooting guard, Caleb Martin, the backup power forward, and Andre Jackson Jr., my backup small forward. So, again, trying to keep as much UConn in this rotation as possible, but I'm also trying to win a championship here. So, we will see what happens. I also want to go ahead and just check out and see what conference are we in. I'm assuming it's the East. That would make the most sense, and yeah, we are in the Eastern Conference, but is every... No, okay. So I thought every college team was in a conference for a second, but it's not the case. But we are here with Duke and Kentucky, which are obviously the best two teams for now. So, yeah, I'm a little nervous about what's going to happen, but this is the team here for year one. I'll see you guys at the end of it. First season here at UConn comes to an end. It sees us finish with a record of 64-18. I have no idea how good that is. Part of me thinks it's probably, you know, a top 2, 3 seed in the Eastern Conference, but again, there are a lot of good teams here with, you know, college teams anyways. Joel Embiid and the Kansas Jayhawks are pretty good. He's going to win your MVP award. Cooper Flagg went number 1 overall, I'm assuming, to the Washington Wizards. You got Zion and Duke winning 6th Man of the Year. The man cannot even start on the Duke team. Walker Kessler playing for North Carolina and is your depoy. You got Jared McCain winning Most Improved. Aaron Gordon. Oh, wow, those Arizona jerseys are sweet. Clutch Player of the Year. You don't see that too often. And 69 wins for Doc Rivers, who is head coach of the Kansas Jayhawks here in this scenario. He's going to be your coach of the year. So it's not often I'll go through the All-NBA teams, but just in today's video, I will. Cool. Ben Simmons? Really? Okay, here's a look at All-NBA second team. All-NBA third team. Okay, not seeing any UConn Huskies. Not great. All right, let's talk about the standings here real quick. We're actually a 3 seed with 64 wins. Again, there's going to be a pretty drastic drop once we get to the first NBA team here. That would be the Indiana Pacers, who are somehow still over 500 with, yeah, this. So, you know, 7 NBA teams here makes perfect sense to me. Not really sure how Duke was down here. I mean, they did win 62 games. That is a 6 seed. That's insane. And then here's a look at the West. What on earth? I understand that UCLA is certainly not the best, but this is probably better than the 60 overalls that a lot of these other, you know, NBA teams are working with. So that's kind of insane. Let's talk about the numbers real quick for this team. Led in scoring by Stephon Castle. Kyrie Irving kind of expected him to be the number 1 option. Not exactly the case here today. Julius Randle, VJ Edgecombe, Jordan Hawkins, Donovan Clingan, Tristan Newton, Andre Jackson, Caleb Martin, Yves Missy. Led in rebounds by Clingan, led in assists by Castle. So we're in the playoffs, so we are going to end up with Duke in round 1, which is so less than ideal. I mean, they're a 6 seed, but they won 62-ish or whatever games. Tyus Jones, actually, their starting point guard. I guess we did take Kyrie from them. Brandon Ingram playing the 2, Tatum at the 3, Paolo at the 4. You got Lively in here. Jalen Johnson, he went to do, I forgot about that. Zion, of course, coming off the bench. You got Jared McCain, Mark Williams. I don't really know who Miles Bird is. Okay, round 1. This is probably not going to go too well for us. This team is a lot better, and we get swept. Not great, Bob. All right, let's take a look at the numbers here real quick. Kyrie Irving did his thing. Julius Randle. Stephon Castle went down a bit in the scoring department. He shot terribly from the field in the 3-game sweep. Hawkins, Edgecombe, Newton. Not a great series out of Donovan Clingan. Yeah, man, just not a great first impression all around. Got a tough matchup. It is Jared Allen, Kevin Durant in Texas going up against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the almost said UConn and the Kentucky Wildcats here. Let's see what happens. It is going to be Kentucky getting it done, and they still give Kevin Durant Finals MVP. Oh, my God. All right, Kyle Lowry actually ended up signing a 1-year deal with Arizona. He's going to call it a career now. I can't override that again. You got Brook Lopez, who is actually playing for UCLA. He's going to also call it a career. Staff retirements, Popovich in there. Draft lottery time. I don't think we've traded for any lottery picks. I don't think so anyways. Let's sim through it. Charlotte, Magic, Thunder, and then Kentucky. Sweet. I'm assuming Kentucky's the Oklahoma City Thunder because I see a lot of draft picks there. All right, we're hanging on to Mike Stalford. Let's approach the 2026 draft, see what we're working with here. In the pick department, I'm not sure. We have absolutely nothing. Donovan Clingan is irritated for God knows what reason, but we're not going to trade into the draft. So team player options, Castle, Clingan, Hawkins, all will be brought back. Again, another offseason, you know, just with progression is going to be huge for us, but I still think that there is a trade out there that probably makes some sense for us. So, you know, maybe could have saved a little bit of money, gone out and signed a Kevin Durant, but ultimately we spent a lot of money in offseason number 1, and I'm still fine with that. I think there's just some trades out there that it is now finally time to probably go make. We are going to attempt to acquire another Duke Blue Devil. This time it would be Brandon Ingram. Of course, signed Kyrie Irving away from Duke last season, and I'd like to add Brandon Ingram. He'd be a major upgrade in this starting five now. We are offering up a significant amount of depth here. Unfortunately, all of these players have to be in here to make the money work. And Yves Missy's really good, but we have a center and we're paying him $15 million. Come off the bench, play 18 minutes, so Brandon Ingram would be a welcome addition, and Duke is willing to take that. So BI is actually going to start at the small forward spot for me. This isn't an indictment against VJ Edgecombe. He's fine. I just think when we're competing with Duke, with Kentucky, with Texas, we have to be pretty much as good as we possibly can at every single position. So BI is going to be a welcome addition in this starting five. Again, there's not going to be a lot of other major changes here. I think there's probably going to be one or two other things, but really just about the depth at this point. Here in free agency, we are signing a new backup center. Of course, Yves Missy was just in that Brandon Ingram trade. We are bringing in Zach Collins on a 3-year, $35.5 million contract. He will come in and be the backup center behind Donovan Clingan. So I think that's a pretty big signing. You know, he's not a superstar or anything like that, but he's a similar overall to Missy. I'd still say Missy's a little bit better, but again, just clearing out some of the depth we did have and looking to make upgrades elsewhere. So I think, unfortunately, at this point, Andre Jackson Jr., who actually is a UConn Husky, is not only expiring, but is also probably a bit more expendable at this point. Of course, traded for Ingram, still have Edgecombe. I think the same thing can be said about Cam Spencer. I would take Jordan Hawkins over him, and he's somebody I'll probably sign long-term, whereas Spencer and Jackson are both expiring. So, again, I don't love just ditching all the UConn guys, but I'm trying to win a championship here. So if we can include both of these guys in a trade, I'm looking for some sort of power forward. Again, it doesn't have to be a superstar or anything like that. And I'm not really loving any of these offers that I'm getting right here. So I'll make a trade for Trendon Watford here from the Texas Longhorns, who, of course, LSU Tiger. Now with Texas, we'll take a draft pick back as well, and I think that's a pretty good move for us. So we have 10 guys on this team. I think we have gotten better. I expect some more development with this group, and I'll see you guys at the start of year number 2. I'd say last year we had a pretty successful regular season. We ended up as the 3 seed here in a loaded Eastern Conference, and unfortunately ran into a buzzsaw in the Duke Blue Devils in round 1. We got swept. It's not fun. This offseason added a bit more star power with Brandon Ingram here, and obviously some nice development for guys like Stephon Castle, Donovan Clingan, VJ Edgecombe. So, you know what? I think this team will be better this year. Kyrie Irving, Stephon Castle, Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, Donovan Clingan. Bench unit will be led by Edgecombe. You got Collins behind him. Jordan Hawkins remains, Tristan Newton, and finally Trendon Watford rounding out this 10-man rotation. So I'm excited. Again, I think there's going to be multiple teams winning 60-plus games. Hopefully we are at the top of that list at the end of year number 2. What? I don't know when I'm going to cut that in. I wanted to show you kind of my genuine reaction to Kobe White winning an MVP award. We won 64 games, which I thought was pretty good. I didn't exactly see where it was in the standings, but I'm still kind of shocked at this. Don't get me wrong, Kobe White's a solid player. Just in an MVP, okay. AJ Demancia does win Rookie of the Year in Charlotte. You got Zion still winning 6th Man of the Year. I'm surprised they cannot. Even after the BI trade, you can't find a way to get him into the starting 5. Chet Holmgren wins Depoy for Gonzaga. You got Andre Jackson Jr., new member of the Texas Longhorns. He wins Most Improved. Of course, we traded him there. You got Jace Richardson winning Clutch Player of the Year. Jason Kidd, head coach of the Texas Longhorns, is your coach of the year. So where did we end up in the things? Okay, we ended up 3rd once again. We have Villanova, so basically the New York Knicks in round 1. And Duke finally back where they belong on top of the conference. 70 wins for Texas, who of course was in the finals last year, lost in 7 games to Kentucky. And here's a look at some of the stats for this team real quick. Not a single 20-point per game score, but we obviously had a lot of firepower offensively. Stephon Castle, Kyrie Irving, Brandon Ingram, Randall, Hawkins, Edgecombe, Clingan, Collins, Watford, and then Newton. Led in rebounds by Clingan, led in assists by Castle. Okay. What's going to happen here? We are taking on Villanova. Let's dive into it. Jalen Brunson, Cam Whitmore. You got Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart. Now, he went to UConn? No, he went to LSU. Okay. Cameron Boozer, Sadiq Bey. So they've made some changes there. Still saw Dante DiVincenzo coming off that bench. I say we're better. We're up 3-0 right now. They do take home game 4. We win the series in 5. Now we're moving on to the 2-seeded North Carolina Tar Heels and league MVP, Kobe White. Again, Kobe White's a good player. He's nowhere close to an MVP award. I understand this removes, pretty much all the international players from the league. There's no Giannis, there's no Jokic. I mean, I just don't understand how Kobe White won the MVP. I mean, KD's still here, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's here, Jason Tatum's here. All power to you, Kobe. Good for you, man. I'd also say we're better than this team, but again, a lot of crazy shit can happen in this scenario. We are up 3-1 at the moment. We are on to the Eastern Conference Finals, and it is 4 college teams here. Surprise, surprise. We are taking on the Kentucky Wildcats, who are actually a lower seed than us. And, you know, I'm not really sure what to do about this. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Shaden Sharp, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis. You got Karl Anthony Towns. Tyrese Maxey is the 6th man. De'Aaron Fox is the 7th man. I mean, what? How? You guys remember that old meme? I can't fucking compete. Well, I can't fucking compete. What am I supposed to do with this? And how are you a 4 seed? Please explain that to me. If this may be one of the craziest wins of all time, if I'm somehow able to do this, I don't see a possibility. What? No way. What? Oh my God. There's no way. Oh my God, what? You're not serious right now. This, I mean, again, we're a solid squad. If this was a normal rebuild against normal teams, 100%, you know, probably one of the best teams, if not the best in the league. But the fact that we beat, let me just go over how many NBA All-Stars are here. All-Star, 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 definitely All-Stars, All-Star, All-Star, not yet, All-Star, nah, I don't think he's been an All-Star. It's like 7 fucking All-Stars on this team and basically like 890 overalls. That is absolutely asinine. But we're here in the NBA Finals now, and we're taking on Kevin Durant in Texas. You got Russell Westbrook, of course, the UCLA product. You got Jalen Tyson in here. KD, who's down to a 90 overall. Jared Allen, Miles Turner. So they're a very tall team. I'll certainly give them that. Again, I don't think this team's better than Kentucky was, so can we maybe get this done here? Can we get a championship in year number 2? We are currently down 2-1, tied up at 2-2. We go up 3-2. I'd love to get some gameplay on a college court, so that would be sweet if that was possible. We're on our home floor here, and unfortunately, it does not look like it's going to be happening here. We are just getting our backs blown out here in the... Oh, actually got kind of close for a second. Look at that run we made there in the 4th. Not going to happen. It is Game 7. It is do or die. We are going back to Texas, and I'd like to hold on to this series, not choke it, and beat this Longhorn team. Oh my God. What is this fucking quarter? It is do or die, and you're coming out and doing this. All right, well, I want to get some gameplay. Even if we don't end up winning one next offseason, I will hop into a game. I want to, see what the courts look like and everything. So we're going to blow this one, not get a championship. Texas wins it all. Kevin Durant, 2nd straight finals MVP, even though he didn't win the finals last year, but he does this year. All right, it is time for the final offseason. We are going to cautiously approach this. I know Brandon Ingram's going to likely be a free agent. I'm not exactly sure what our draft pick department's looking like. The Houston pick's projected 4. I don't know the protections on it. We don't even have it. It's at 2, so it'll just be a trade asset. Hanging on to Mike Stauffer. We approach the 2027 draft. We are working with 3 first-round picks. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is combine all of these into a trade, move up, draft somebody, probably include them in a bigger trade. So like Charlotte at number 8. Is that a possibility? Or if I see something a little bit higher maybe along the way. Like there's no way I can get this at 4, right? Yeah, there's just no fucking way they're accepting this. I also do have another draft pick. Like, you want this? No. I have some other tradable first. Okay, they agree to that. I don't know the 2027 draft at all. I just don't. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you good people and pretend that I do. But Brandon McCoy, 19 years old out of Rutgers. Oh, Elijah Arenas is also sitting here. I've heard of him at least. Brandon McCoy, fine. Welcome to the team. And then I think I kept 1 or 2 seconds. It was 1. I don't really need it. Thank you very much, Duke. Okay, we are going to figure something out. 79 overall for Brandon McCoy. Castle, yes. Edgecombe, yes. I don't know what's wrong with Klingon. I've seen this recently. Players just get tilted for God knows what reason. Of course, have to go ahead and extend Brandon Ingram. Tristan Newton and Jordan Hawkins will both be qualified. Fuck, Shay's sitting here. God, I wish I had money. I do not, though. And Brandon Ingram is going to ask for about only $30 million a year. It's actually not too bad. Again, this is not a realistic rebuild. We're going to make some trades right now that are probably not even remotely close to realistic. But again, that's how these things kind of go. So let's find a trade. I'm going to see if there's a way that Kentucky would maybe trade me Bam out of bio. No, ultimately, it's not like the major jump that maybe we need. This isn't going from like an 80 overall to a 95. But I think Bam is a better player than Randall. And I do think, his 2+ overall and his significantly better defense would help this team quite a bit. So Tristan Newton's in this trade for a couple reasons. First and foremost, we need somebody to make the money work. Second, and maybe more importantly, we went ahead and we drafted Brandon McCoy. So it's really not a needed thing for him to be here. And if I can maybe get this done with the draft picks we have, thank you very much, Kentucky, I would certainly take it with open arms. So Bam is going to be my new power forward. I think I'm going to hang on to Klingon. He's been doing nothing but developing, even if his overall is in the toilet, and even if, you know, he's a little pissed off right now for God knows what reason. But I think I'm just going to let this thing rock. We got really damn close, and we made another upgrade. Again, we're going to be kind of scrapping here, looking for a backup power forward. Could just go out and get Tyrese Martin, of course, the former UConn Husky. Why not? All right, man. That's going to do it. This is going to be the team entering the third and final season. Year 3 here in UConn. Last year we went to 7 games of the NBA Finals and were heartbroken when we lost it. Now this year we have reloaded a bit, a couple changes in the starting 5, and we are ready to go. Backcourt remains the same with Kyrie Irving, Stephon Castle. VJ Edgecombe has developed unbelievably quickly. He is already a higher overall by 3 than Brandon Ingram. So yeah, we're going to pay our 6-man $30 million annually, but it's fine. Bam Adebayo, of course, the new addition at our power forward spot. Still got Donovan Klingon at the center position. Now BI will be our 6-man. Jordan Hawkins behind him. Brandon McCoy, who we just drafted, 4th overall. Zach Collins in here, and Tyrese Martin rounding it out. So it is about as good as it was ever going to get, man. I hope it is enough, and I'll see you guys at the end of year 3. What a way to cap off year 3. Not only do we have the league MVP in VJ Edgecombe, but we also have our best record yet at 73-9. This has to be a championship year, right? I think so. Tyron Stokes, your rookie of the year. He's a member of an actual NBA team, the Oklahoma City Thunder. You got Jalen Johnson coming off the bench for Duke. Chet Holmgren wins DPOY at Gonzaga. VJ Edgecombe also wins most improved. How do you go, most improved to MVP? That I do not know. SGA actually departed Kentucky to sign with an NBA team, that being the Miami Heat. And Mike Stauffer is your coach of the year. So we are the 1 seed here, I think. Anyways, yes, we are by 15 games. Okay, this is pretty promising. It looks like a lot of the college guys ended up leaving for NBA contracts with NBA teams. So this could be really good for us. This could be a really, really big possibility here. Now, of course, I'd like to meet up with a college team in the finals. I'm just hoping it is not Texas. And, of course, we have to get to the finals. So here's a look at Kansas. I've recently noticed Joel Embiid regresses really quickly in this game once you get to, year 3. So it's interesting, nonetheless, but I think we're a better team. I don't think there's much doubt about that. So we were up 3-1 at the moment against Kansas. We win the series. And we, I think for the first time in this video, taking on an actual NBA team here in the Miami Heat, who, of course, signed SGA. You got Jeremiah Fears sitting here, Micah Murison, Izana Massa. You got Khalil Ware, Johnny Jazang. Okay. SGA is probably the best player in the series. I don't really think there's denying that, but I think we are a much better team. I think. Oh, boy. 2K. Thank God. All right, it is us and the Duke Blue Devils here to go to the NBA Finals. They have lost significant pieces as this video has gone on, but again, they are still absolutely loaded. Now, we, of course, beat them last year. It was to my surprise. It was probably to your surprise. I think we can beat them again, I think. No. Thank you. And it is a rematch of last year's NBA Finals. Texas is back in the finals for the 3rd straight year. Longhorns looking to go back-to-back. I'd like to stop them and step in and maybe get this done. Quick 2-0 lead for us. They do win Game 3 and Game 4. Oh my fucking God. What is 2K's obsession with this Texas team? Look, they're good, don't get me wrong, but now I know what it is. Oh my God, I get it. I finally understood what it is. It's because he made the Dallas Mavericks the Texas Longhorns, and for God knows what reason, 2K is obsessed with the Dallas Mavericks this year. It's like something in the script of the game. They love Dallas. That is why. That makes more sense now. And I'm the Brooklyn Nets, technically. So, not great. Not great at all. All right, I'll see you in there. I always give this same speech as this is your first time watching one of my rebuilds. I'm pretty decent at the rebuilding part. I am absolutely terrible at the gameplay part. And, yep, you sickos always love watching it. So, I'm going to do my best to hopefully come back. Oh, we blocked him again! We blocked Katie twice. Oh, my God. Okay. Ooh, that's a risky pass. That's a risky pass. VJ Edgecombe just going right up for the slam 3-point game. All right. Again, horrible at the gameplay stuff. I'm pretty decent at the rebuilding part. I will try to lock it in right now and hopefully force a Game 7 on our home floor. All right, 3-point ball game. Timeout Longhorns. These jerseys are cool. This court is sick. This is pretty cool. Let's make sure the starters are in the game. It looks like everybody is at where they are supposed to be. And the good news is the 2K really can't do anything about their obsession with the Dallas Mavericks, aka the Texas Longhorns, when they're in the gameplay part. It works very well in the simulation part of it. Not so much here. What the fuck are we doing? Reed Shepard gets the easiest easiest jump shot of his life. Give it to Kyrie. Kyrie needs to work some magic right now. I just need to go ahead and just, I mean, we're using Kyrie Irving. No disrespect to Reed Shepherd, but like, that's foul. And one, count it. Put it in, Kyrie. Let's fucking go, baby. Yes, shut up, Reed. Okay, Kyrie Irving doing what he does best, performing in the clutch. And again, these look like the UConn uniforms from like 2011 or like maybe 2008 or something like that. They just look very old school right now. I don't know if they're just, wasn't updated ones here in 2K, but nonetheless, this Texas court looks absolutely phenomenal. Huge shout out to, whoever spent the time and created this. It's absolutely awesome to see. And again, would have been super, super cool to actually have, 30 college teams in here. But again, oh my God, the MVP ties it up. It's still pretty cool. I mean, we face college teams basically the whole time, and we're going to face another one here in hopes of winning a championship and denying them a back-to-back. Kevin Durant just going to pull up, gets the little jump shot from 5 feet to go, and we are in a close, contested ball game, my friends. All right, calling for the ISO here. Give me a little screen here, Donovan. Let's force Miles Turner into the pick and roll. Kyrie down the lane, inside to Kling, and he's going to get the layup to go back to a tie game at 97 apiece. Pretty low-scoring affair here, especially considering all the talent that is on this floor right now. I need VJ Edgecombe to step up and play some elite defense against Kevin Durant. We're going to try to deny the ball here to Miles Turner in the paint. Klingon is slow as fucking molasses. KD coming off the screen. We're going to try to deny that. Good defense here from Edgecombe. He's going to step through, puts it up, cannot get it to go. We have a chance to take the lead. Kyrie down the floor. Reed Shepherd not keeping up with Uncle Drew, and it is a 2-point lead for your UConn Huskies. Texas has one timeout left. They have decided not to use it at this situation, and we have got to focus here. We cannot let something stupid happen here. They're going to give it to their best player, Kevin Durant. Pull up from 5 feet. He's going to miss it in and out. And we get the ball back. And we have got to control this clock. You want to waste the clock. You do not want to waste the possession. Again, they're going to probably get me in a spot where they will have a 2-for-1 opportunity. But that is more than a fine by me. Kyrie Irving dancing top of the three-point line. Reed Shepherd, little step back for Kyrie. Oh, I thought I stepped back. Anyways, big rebound for Kyrie, and he puts it in. 30 seconds on the clock. Timeout, Texas. And we are on the verge of forcing a Game 7. I understand this doesn't mean we win a championship, but I'm hyped right now. I am hyped right now. There might be a better defensive lineup, but honestly, I'm leaving the starters in the game. They've done nothing but have great success for me, and I'm gonna leave it like that. Now, Donovan Klingon is gassed. You can see that by the Gatorade logo right there, but I'm going to try to deny Kevin Durant the ball. I just do not want to find a world where Kevin Durant has the ball. Jalen Tyson going to spin move here. He's going to blow the layup. He blows the layup, and I think we should be good at this point. It is going to be Stephon Castle, one of the UConn legends on this team, going to the stripe. He hits two. This one's pretty much over. First one up, it is green. 5-point ball game, 25 seconds on the clock. Second free throw is up. It is good. Good night. It is do or die time, my friends. A huge Game 6 victory on the road brings this series back to Connecticut. And can we get it done here on our home court and win our first championship of this video? Looks like it's going to be another closely contested ball game. Back and forth we go. It is a very low-scoring game once again. And, well, we should be good. Now, I will jump in quickly just to show you guys the court, put up a couple shots. I know this video has been long as hell, but it's going to feel real good to cap this one off with a championship. Just a hair over 2 minutes to go here in Connecticut. Look at this UConn floor. Again, a little bit of an old school vibe. A little bit of an old school vibe. You got the multiple colors going on here. VJ Edgecombe just dunking it to cap this one off, but the court looks sweet. It really does. These uniforms are also really, really cool. So again, big shout out to the creator of this shared scenario, man. It's awesome, and I thought this was a really cool kind of concept to do. He, of course, he made a TikTok with it, which was sweet, and I thought it was really cool. It kind of, obviously inspired this video. Nobody really asked for this, but again, just what a fun video, what an awesome rebuild, and a really cool way to cap it off. So, barring the most epic collapse in the history of, well, I was going to say the NBA, but I guess technically we're not in the NBA. We're going to be winning a championship here. And I don't really have anything left to do at this point. So jump shot for Saraf up, no good. We will do one more possession with Kyrie here. Let's just dance a little bit at the top of the key. Kyrie, a little back and forth action. No way, right? Oh, good night. Gotta love a year 3 championship, man. Gotta love it. The VJ Edgecombe won league MVP, wins finals MVP. Oh my god, what a rebuild, what a video, what a team. I had a lot of fun with this one, man. I didn't really know what to expect, of course. You know, I was going to say it's not the most challenging one out there, and it's certainly not in that aspect, but when you looked at the Duke team, you looked at the Kentucky team, I had no idea how I was going to beat those teams, and ultimately got a little lucky with some guys leaving in free agency, and we put together a really solid squad that got it done. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Just a fun video for March Madness, and super excited to be back again. I apologize I missed 2 days, but this one was fun. I hope you guys have been enjoying March Madness so far, and I hope you guys are doing well in your brackets. I sure as hell am not. Neither are my bets. I'm not going to get into it. That'll do it for me, man. As always, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.